to come and explain what's going on, what we should know, what we should do, what we should not do, some of the answers, so we will be aware of what's going on. And it's very important, and I really appreciate you all taking the time to join. We are currently live on Facebook on Keymama Show. So when you go on Keymama Show, you can also share from there. And welcome everyone. At this juncture, I would like Lawyer Eric Darko to take over from me and educate us, give us your background. Although I mention your name, I give brief, but you can give us more details, how long you've been immigration lawyer and other stuff that you do. So let's talk about you first. Tell us who you are.
Keymama and your esteemed listeners, my name is Eric Darko. I am a lawyer here in New York and also in Ghana. A little bit about myself. I was called to the Ghana bar in 1994. You can do the math. And from Ghana, From Ghana, I migrated to the United States, where in 1996, I got my first master's degree from Long Island University. I then continued to Fordham Law School, where I obtained a Master of Law in International Business and Trade Law with Human Rights. I became a lawyer here in New York in 2001, and I have been practicing both international law and immigration law since 2001. So that makes it approximately 24 years, getting to 25 years of practice here, and about 31 years of practicing in Ghana. I do maintain two offices, one in New York, located at 299 Broadway, just directly opposite the immigration, and I do maintain an office in Ghana as well. When you go to Ghana and you visit the U.S. Embassy website, among the few lawyers who are authorized to practice at the embassy level include my law firm, which is Darko Law Firm. That is a little bit about myself. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. Let me do some housekeeping rules before you continue from here. Please, if you have any questions, we will get to the Q&A. You will raise your hand and we will call accordingly. Also, you can text your question in the question section and we will read it aloud. Also, in between, we might bring in our local dialects, the Ganchi, to, before closing. Before we close, we'll break it down a little bit. So I really want everyone to mute yourself. This today or this moment is for Lawyer Darko to take us through how we started, where we are, and where we're looking forward to go. Then the Q&A continue. Thank you, Lawyer. Please take over.
Well, I would start from saying that we should all congratulate one of our own, a federal court judge who is also a Ghanaian by name. Just 1 minute, let me get you her name. She has done something marvelously wonderful. And we need to recognize her work immediately. So, federal court judge Miss Justice Frimpong, I believe, issued a decision yesterday blocking the Trump administration from indiscriminate arrest in Los Angeles. And guess what? She happens to be a Ghanaian American. This is actually a good day and a proud day to be a Ghanaian. The Trump administration has been a very tough administration on immigration and immigrants as a whole. And it's actually transcend beyond undocumented immigrants. I would say documented immigrants are also facing serious consequences as a result of the policies that has been implemented and continue to be implemented by the administration. There are daily changes to immigration, and I will just mention a few, and after that, we can go to specifics. I am sure we are all aware that on July 8th, the Trump administration made changes to Ghana visa arrangements with the United States. Simply put, the Trump administration has restricted Ghanaian B1, B2 visas and limited to only 3 months visa with a single entry to the United States. So what that means is that if you apply for a visa and you are from Ghana and you are coming here for either business or for pleasure, which is the B1 for business and B2 for pleasure, then you are only allowed to enter once. When you enter once and you want to come back again, you will need to go and apply for another visa. 2, instead of the previous time where you could be allowed to stay in the United States up to 6 months on these temporary visas, now the limitation is only up to 3 months. This is a very drastic change in the policy. Before then, people have multiple visas where you can go and come to visit and to do your business without the need to cross the border. And these days, let's assume that you have Canada visa, you have American visa, you come to America, you decide that you want to go and check on a business or a project or see a friend in Canada and return back to the US. You may not be able to do that because now you have a single entry and you have to apply for a visa before you can come back again. Can you imagine what will happen during the FIFA World Cup 2026, where we have some of the games going on in Canada, some going on in Mexico, and some in the United States? So if you come to the United States and you decide to go and watch one of the games in Mexico or Canada and return, you will not be able to do that unless this policy changes. What are the other policy changes that has come up? Just this week and last week, lawyers have been receiving letters for clients who have been ordered, removed, or deported in the past but did not leave the country. Currently, some of them are receiving letters for civil penalties imposed by the current administration. And the penalties are no joke. It actually asks clients or the respondents to come and justify within 30 days why they are not going to be subject to $1.8 million penalty for refusing to leave the United States. That is a recent change. It's a very tough one. It's a very uncomfortable experience. The next one, of course, we all know of the visa ban. Some countries have been placed on visa ban who, as soon as the government took over, decided that elements of these individuals from these countries are not allowed in the United States. Those countries include countries, about 7 of them in Africa. And these sanctions have taken effect, causing a lot of hardship to citizens who have relatives in the United States or businesses in the United States, but happens to come from those countries. When you go to deportation-wise, of course, there has been an increase enforcement actions by ICE. As you know, in the past, nobody will question you to justify why you can live or stay in the United States. But currently, ICE can encounter you and they can ask you for your ID and information to show that you are legal in the United States. Even US citizens have been swept in this type of enforcement actions. There has been a big jump in arrests, Ghanaians included, some of my clients included, some of them with no criminal record, with a pending applications. So it is a very concerning time. When you go to adjustment of status, green card applications, I have seen situations where currently after interview, they still call you to come for a second interview. The Stokes is now very rampant. The questions by the Department of State officials are also very detailed. Social media is also being monitored as part of the investigative tools, both in green card applications and other immigration benefits issues, where they go into your past social media handles and see if you have posted anything that is deemed to be not supporting the United States. Student visas have also come into scrutiny and attack. I've had situations where Ghanaian students have lost their F1 status. Some could not also get appointment for interviews. Schools are facing strict sanctions from the administration. Scholarships and grants have really reduced. When you move on to adjustment citizenship, the story is almost about the same. Citizenship applications are now facing strict scrutinies, where your past immigration record is subject to questioning. People are being asked series of questions, and if there was any lie or omissions at the time you're applying for your green card, then at the citizenship section, you will have issues to deal with. Simple example are those who entered through the lottery system. If you came in with a DV visa lottery, whatever information you put down at the time of entering the lottery and getting a green card has become an issue, where sometimes people add children who were not included in the previous application. And just because of that, the immigration has decided that they lied on the applications. Asylum system has also been impacted. I mean, the news is almost everywhere not very pleasant. And I would hope that we will get questions from listeners in order to go to the specifics. What I can tell you is that the terrain is now totally changed. Things are not what it used to be. People are not as free as it used to be. Lawyers are not as confident as we used to be. And we are all praying that Ghanaians stay within the rules, abide by the laws, and let's hope that we get this difficult times over soon. And hopefully we will all be here to enjoy the dream that America presents. Key.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much, Lawyer Darko, for breaking it down for us from the general updates, the fine, the visa ban, and citizen application issue. Someone asked a question, what about B1 and B2 for Kenya? That this also apply for Kenya?
Kenya has not been named yet. We believe that, when the president listed the countries that he was going to sanction, there were those who were put on visa ban, there were those who were put on restrictions, and there were those who were slated for future restriction actions. Ghana, Nigeria happens to be among those who were placed on future restrictive actions, and we have received our share. I'm not sure who is next, but almost everybody is not safe, especially if you dare make any comment which is negative or which is challenging the United States, even at the presidential level, it is not going to be that simple for you. But so far, Kenya has not been named, as far as I know. We just have to keep checking.
Okay. Hello, listeners and viewers, both Facebook and direct Zoom. Please, if you have any personal question, feel free, raise your hand. I'll call you. Make it short. Please make it short. We are not going to be here more than an hour and a half. So please make your question very short for us so we all have time to answer everyone. So anybody here who would like to ask a lawyer question, unmute yourself and ask your question. Don't wait till lawyer leaves and call me. Please.
Hello.
Yeah, I see Sean Mom. Please go
Yes.
ahead and make it short for us.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Good afternoon. I'm one of the clients of Dr. Lawyer Darko. He knows me. Emily Kenyan. How are you? Thank you.
How are you, Emily?
How are you? Thank you so much. So my question is also pertaining of what's happening. As in, we read the news yesterday about this Canadian guy who came here when he was 3 years old, and he's every year he's been going back and forth from Canada to US. He has he's not a citizen, but he has a green card. So the question might it's pertaining to a friend of mine that got caught up by immigration. Eventually, the case was dropped, and they got the uh, citizenship, you know, naturalization, and finally they became their citizen. The thing is, because of what's happening, like this guy, so my friend was asking whether them going to their country and coming back, because already they were stopped by when they had gotten the permanent resident, they had gone to their country and come back. And when they come back, they stopped by the customs and they were detained for a few hours, them checking on all things because of what had happened. What would be the best advice for this person, even if they have a citizen?
Well, first of all, Emily, if you listen to the news, if you follow the news, it has not been a pleasant news for immigrants and immigrants communities, including people who look like immigrants. Now, why do I say that? This is not the first time that even a US citizen has had issues with ICE recently. There are stories upon stories of US citizens being stopped or being arrested until they prove their citizenship. Just yesterday, PBR News reported that there were kids who were having a basketball training up somewhere in New York City. They were high school students, almost all of them born in the United States. But ICE went into the park to more or less question them of their immigration status. That is what is happening now. So my advice to everyone, including anybody who looks like an immigrant and who looks like an immigrant, everybody, apart from a few people who have not been stopped according to the statistics, brown and black people are more likely to be stopped by anybody else. So if you are brown and black, my advice to you is that keep your paperwork straight. If you are a green card holder The law allows you to travel outside the United States, but you cannot stay out more than 6 months. I've had cases where people stay out more than 6 months, and on their way back, the immigration officers at the border try to take their citizenship away. You can stay up to a year, but if it is more than a year without permission, you will actually lose your green card by doing so. If you stay more than 6 months, you have actually wiped out all the accrued days you have lived in the United States for citizenship purposes. So in that scenario, you will have to start again to count the 5 years towards your citizenship. If you are a US citizen, the law technically allows you to live anywhere of your choice. You don't have to be in the United States. Your citizenship is still protected fully. However, there have been instances where citizens here in the United States are even being questioned. So if you're a citizen who lives outside or who frequents outside, make sure your naturalization certificate is handy. Your passport does not expire when you are outside the country. Or if it has expired, make sure you can go and renew it as quickly as possible. But if you leave it for a long time, then you might have issues proving your citizenship. That would be the advice I would give to these people. You can travel, but travel cautiously and make sure you have copies of your paperwork with you so that in case you are stopped, you'll be able to show. Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
very much. Please unmute yourself. Next question. Josh, you have your hands up. Please put your hand down and ask your question. Make it short, please.
Thank you very much,
Josh,
Keymama. I appreciate you.
yes.
Dr. Eric Darko, thank you so much. I think I met you during the Afro Pop program.
Yeah.
Quick point. People who don't know you would like to reach out to you, and like Keymama have already declared, we should not call her after this conference. Can you text in the inbox your phone number so we can reach you? Though you said it orally, now we can be reached at 299 Broadway. I still remember. So can you put on the platform your phone number and the address one more time? That's my only question. Thank you, Keymama, for having such a wonderful time. Always giving us platform to express ourselves and to educate and enlighten the public. You're the best. Thank you.
Next
I will
person.
put it right there for you.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Emmanuel Asante, please.
Yes,
Drop your hand
is,
and
yeah,
drop your hand and ask your question. Make it short and spicy.
yeah,
Mr. Josh, please
okay.
mute yourself.
I will do.
Okay.
My question is that if I'm a green card holder and I travel to Ghana every year, what is the risk for me not doing that? Would that affect my citizenship? I mean, if I do apply for citizenship, in the future, would that affect it?
Okay. So thanks for your question. Let me explain the green card situation to you. If you want to become a US citizen, you can become a citizen if you have been a permanent resident for 5 years, or you have become a permanent resident for 3 years through marriage, and you are still married to the US citizen spouse. Now, within these 5 years, or within these 3 years, you cannot live outside the country for more than 6 months. If you live outside the country for more than 6 months, you have to restart counting those years from the time you come back to the United States. 2, if you stay more than 1 year, you can likely lose your green card even when you are returning to the United States. So my advice is that as a green card holder who plans to become a citizen, do not live outside the country for more than 6 months at a go. You can go and visit and come back, but don't stay out more than 6 months if you want to apply for citizenship within whatever framework that you qualified for.
Okay, attorney, I'm talking about the frequency.
The frequency doesn't matter, but do not stay out more than 6 months. And two, the frequency currently may be an issue because there have been instances where officers at the airport would question why you don't live in the United States often. So if you come, you live 2 months, you go 3 months, and then you come back and live 1 month and you go, they may use that also against you. So I will tell every listener that under the current administration and whatever we are seeing, you should limit the frequency of your travel abroad.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Equia just joined us. Equia, please drop your hand and ask your question. Make it very short, please.
Okay. So my question is, I'm married to a U.S. citizen. And the question is, can my husband file for me as well as my children? And also, how long would it take for the kids if they are not in the country?
So the answer to all the question is yes. When you are married to a U.S. citizen can petition for his or her spouse, for his or her children, for his or her stepchildren, for his or her parents, brothers as well, and also married children. Okay. So as a U.S. citizen, and just to answer your question, let's assume that you had a children before you married your spouse. Mm-hmm. Once the marriage took place before any of your child turned 18, they all qualify for your U.S. citizen husband to petition for them. So let's assume that they were all more than 18. They are all less than 18. So we don't have a problem. If they are more than 18, he cannot petition for them. You have to get your green card and petition for your children who are more than 18 at the time you got married. Number two, can he petition for you and for the children if the children doesn't live in the United States? The answer is yes. Can petition for you and petition for the children. The children will have their interview at the embassy. You will have your interview here if you are here. If you had been in Ghana, he can still petition for all of you for you to go to the embassy to get your papers to come. How long does it take? If you are in the United States, currently, the processing time for adjustment of status when Trump took over reduced to between 4 to 5 months. Mm. But that information that processing time is changing because the administration has shifted all the resources into enforcement. So there are not enough officers dealing with benefits, meaning adjudicating cases. So we are told that it may be moving back to up to 1 year to process. So if you are here and you are applying for green card, it could take up to 1 year, whilst it reduced up to 4 to 5 months in the past. If the child or the person is outside the United States, first, the petition has to be approved by immigration, and it's going to take about 1 year for the petition to be approved. When the petition is approved, we have to do the consular processing process. And there are a lot of backlog also at the embassy. They are trying to catch up, they haven't. So I would say that from the time the petition is approved up to the time you get interview to come, currently can take also up to 1 year. So if we are looking at it, your children outside the United States can take between 1 to 2 years for them to come to, for them to rejoin you in the United States when your husband petitioned for them.
Okay, thank you. So
you are welcome.
Thank you very much. I see Alex, your hand is up. Drop it and ask your short question.
I see a question also online. I don't know if I should read that.
Yeah, go ahead, lawyer.
Someone, I think it's Sean, right? Sean's mom is asking, with the Trump administration, what happens to those people who had already filed for their loved ones outside the country? How long does it take to process for adult children? Now, adult children are those who are more than 21 years of people who are US citizens or green card holders. So you could be a green card holder petition for your adult child, or you could be a green card, you could be a citizen petition for your adult child, or a green card holder petition for your adult child. The difference between the two is that if you're a green card holder, you cannot petition for your adult child who is married. But if you're a citizen, you can petition for your adult child, including adult children who are also married. The question is, how long does it take? Every month, the State Department puts up what is called a visa bulletin. And the visa bulletin determines when they are processing visa applications. That visa bulletin will give you approximately how long it takes for you to be interviewed. Currently, for adult children of US citizens, according to, and I'll just check it and give you just the accurate information right now. This information also, by the way, keeps changing. So do not take it as final. Every month, that information can change. So according to the visa bulletin put up by the State Department for July 2025, the adult children of US citizens, they are processing those who filed between September 1st, 2017 to July 2016. So if you filed within 2016 and 2017, it is time for you to process your application. We are now in 2025, almost September. So if you subtract and you add, that gives you around 8 years of waiting time. If the person were to be a green card holder who petitioned for their adult child is also within the same time frame. So that is the information for you.
Okay, thank you, lawyer. Alex, I saw your hand up and you drop it, or it was a mistake. Oh, I can hear you. I see Bishop hand up. Please make it short for us. Thank you.
Hello, good evening, lawyer Ochre Darko. This is Bishop Dr. Mango. How are you?
I am fine. Good evening, Dr. Bishop. How are you too?
Thank you, sir, for your kindness. Well appreciated. And Keymama for organizing this. Love you, my dear daughter. The question to you is, sir, recently I've been contacted by some students from Ghana who used to study here, and their F1 visas have been revoked. Apparently, one of them I know very well left March for just 2 weeks holidays on emergency to see the mother who was sick. I think April, sorry, a lawyer, or June, April, yeah. Then, after 1 month, because he has to extend his stay in Ghana, when he was about to come, they said your F1 visa is revoked at the Foreign Affairs in Accra. He called me and said, Bishop, this is the situation. So I was trying to even get you, but it's difficult getting you because I know you are busy. Now, the question is this. Please, lawyer Otredakon, in such case or such student, is there any remedy, please, or any advice, sir?
Bishop, this is a very frustrating moment for international students.
Yes, sir.
As you know, a lot happened during the agitation against the war in Gaza, and some schools have been punished heavily for student action during that time. It is not very uncommon these days for a student to receive a message that the visa has been revoked.
Mm-hmm.
There are a few cases that went to court, but an individual fighting a whole government is a very difficult one and a very costly one. My advice to such students is to appeal to their school authorities to find out what is the school doing about this matter. Some of the schools have contacted their senators, their congressmen, have put in a petition on behalf of such students, and some of them have come back. In fact, there was a scenario involving a student from Yale that I got involved, and we did activate the senator. The school was totally on board to ensure that the student can return to the United States. That is the only recourse. Otherwise, it is a State Department action. You cannot fight from outside the ring. If you were here, at least lawyers could file actions, habeas corpus, and other things on your behalf. When you are outside the ring, it is very difficult for you to fight. My advice also for students currently studying here is that limit your travel during this time. Even if your visa has been revoked and you are here, there are so many other things we can pursue. But when you are outside, it is just closing the door and there's very little you can do about it. So in general, let those students contact their school. It is a collective fight rather than a single individual fighting. The school would advise what the international office is doing on such cases. Congressmen, senators can be activated and they can put in a word. It is a question of diplomacy with the State Department more than the legality.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Because yes, I did that and contacted one congressman in Washington, and he made a statement to me that, Bishop, this is a matter of diplomacy, as you said exactly. In fact, he was blunt with me and said, "Man of God, it is not easy with whatever is happening at the White House."
Yes.
So he said, then the only way, as you said, is for the collective students who are having such issue to able to come, for example, to the Congress, for them to issue one letter with a force to help to mediate. But if only one student, it becomes difficult.
Yes.
I think if you can clarify that, because that's what you told me.
It is true, because usually the school would aggregate how many students have been affected by such actions and will present it to the congressman, let them know that we have 20 students who traveled and they have been denied. I mean, their visas have been canceled and they are good students. They have no criminal record. They are excellent diplomats in our school, and we want the Department of State to reconsider the enforcement action against them. That is how we are dealing with these matters.
And my last question, dear lawyer and Keymama, is this. Lawyer, you did say it is advisable that students don't travel, which is what he told me to tell others here who are inside here. That is very unpredictable time. And if it is not emergency, even he used the word, if it's not critical for him or he to travel, why risk travel outside and then facing problems even at the immigration, at JFK or whatever. So he advised that these times are not meant for traveling. In fact, he extended it that not only students, even for green card holders, he said, if it is critical a travel that he or she has to make outside, then he or she can. But if not, let's not try to tempt something that will be it becomes difficult. Lawyer, the last question at stake is one, and the final. Please, in this case, we know the ban that came last few days, as you explained. In future, do you think there can be amicability of this ban to lessen or?
Okay.
Thank
Bishop, I thank you for also being a good advocate in the community. And we want people to have this information. And it is good that you experience it
you,
and you're sharing it, I believe, with both your congregation and even at this forum. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
If I tell you what lawyers practicing immigration are going through on a daily basis, we will not finish this conversation at all. And I will read a few headlines on a daily basis for listeners to hear. My answer to your question, whether this can change, is that we are hopeful that this can change. Laws are made especially to mimic the societal needs. So when a society need changes, the laws can also be changed.
Yes, sir.
Secondly, most of these policies that are being implemented is by executive orders. It is not Congress that has passed new laws at all. When it is executive order, most executive orders die with the end of the president who signed those orders.
Yes, sir.
And part of the reason why people have to really take their time in traveling and in making some of these decisions is that if you become a scapegoat under the current policy, you will be affected. And it may be too late for you to come back in when that policy is no longer in place. So my answer to you is that yes, the policy can change. We are hoping that the policy will change one day. Two, if you don't need to become a statistician to these policies, then do not expose yourself to the policy. That would be my advice. Now, Bishop, I'll just take a moment with your permission, Keymama, just to read what is happening on a daily basis, just headlines for people to understand what we are going through. Okay. The American Immigration Lawyers Association put up news clips about immigration on a daily basis. At first, you won't even get much in a day. But here, July 11th, Friday, first item, federal judge issues new nationwide block against Trump order seeking to end birthrights. That is immigration matter. Two, undocumented immigrants barred from Head Start and other federal benefits. I'm sure you all know about Head Start program. Here in New York, we used to have I believe we still have Head Start, where children, infants can benefit from preschool education. It has never become an issue. But now, undocumented immigrants, according to the big, beautiful bill, will not qualify. So if you are undocumented, your child, even though is an American citizen, may not qualify for it. That is the issue here. Third item, surge in US concerns about immigration has abated. Another one, tech Amazon website warehouse workers lose job after Trump administration crackdown. This is technicians, people with computer skills who are working with Amazon. They are losing jobs because of the immigration crackdown. Trump immigration enforcement record so far, high arrest, low deportation. Church leaders denounces deportation. That was just national news. Local news, Iranian grandmother released after being detained by ICE while gardening outside Louisiana home. She is from Iran. Grandmother doing her garden in Louisiana. She got arrested. Federal immigration agents blocked Keymama farm, clashed with demonstrators in California once again. Federal agents clashed with protesters during immigration raid at California farm. ICE handcuffed a 71-year-old grandmother, a U.S. citizen, at San Diego Immigration Court. This is just in a day. So if this is happening, then we should all be very careful. And I'll also tell you one thing. I don't know how many people are listening from New York. New York has been on the target for Trump, thanks to Mayor Adams, who decided to work closely with the Trump administration. We have been spared from some of the drastic enforcement action. But just Thursday, a client of mine in Newburgh, New York, stepped out to buy grocery. He is Hispanic. ICE just pick him, as simple as that. So we don't know how long it is going to take for our inner city to go through this difficult stress.
Thank you, lawyer. I have a question. Based on the current visa duration, which is 3 months, for those who have 5 years or 3 years or a year already, what is going to happen to them? Is there going to be a changes?
Very, very good question. So now, the visa reciprocity says that if you come after the date of July 8th, then you are subject to the visa reciprocity. Now, they did not clarify whether it is from when you get the visa or not. But it is very logical that if your allowable term is 3 months when you enter, then whether you have a multiple visa for 10 years or whatever it is, you'll be given 3 months to stay. 2, if the condition is that you are allowed only single entry, it is not very far from the truth that an immigration officer will tell you that I'm going to cancel your 5-year multiple visa and limit you to 3 months stay. When you go back, go and get a new visa for 3 months. So far, nobody has come yet. We don't know if they have started implementing it. But if I were to be someone with a 5-year multiple visa, unless I have something urgent to do in America, I will not come. Because you don't want to come and get your visa canceled whilst this 3-month trial period is happening. Wait and see what the outcome would be before you risk coming. Otherwise, you can lose your 5-year or 10-year multiple and you will have to go back to the drawing board. I hope I answered your question.
It's tough.
It is.
It's really tough. So there is no surety that if the person with the multiple visa or multiple entry will be granted to come back again. That's what you're saying.
They did not give even the embassy in Ghana did not issue a memo. The memo that was issued happens to be that of Nigeria. And with your permission, I'm going to read to you because they didn't issue a memo for Ghana, but they implemented the same policy for Ghana. Here for Nigeria, issued on July 8th at Abuja. And this is found at the U.S. Mission, Nigeria. the simple answer to this is that the United States Department has announced updates to its reciprocal non-immigrant visa policy, impacting several countries, including Nigeria, effective immediately. It didn't say effective next week. Immediately. So immediately from July 8th, most non-immigrant and non-diplomatic visas issued to citizens of Nigeria will be single entry visas with a 3-month validity period. So those who are going to be issued will face that. Those U.S. non-immigrant visas issued prior to July 8, 2025 will retain their status and validity. So here they are saying that if you have the visa before July 8, you will keep its validity. We wish to underscore that it is standard globally. Visa represent is a continuous process. You can review, etc. So here they are saying that those who were issued before July 8, 2025 will keep whatever status they had. So ideally, if you have a multiple visa, it should not be affected. But between you and me, I thought if you were a citizen, ICE or immigration could not even question you in the past, right? Are they being questioned now or not? Citizens are being swept in raids. Citizens are being arrested and harassed. So even though the policy is that it doesn't affect those who have their visa before July 8th, I will be cautious in coming. Most likely, you are not going to be affected. But if you don't have any urgent matter to attend to in the United States, I wouldn't want to be part of any officer who feels they have to enforce a rule that doesn't even apply to you.
Thank you so much for your time. We tried to, somebody just posted, let me just see the question. Give me 1 second. He said, I have a friend whose mom was approved for 5 years visa. She came and stayed for 6 months and left back to Africa. Can she be allowed to come back after 6 months or still have to reapply for a new visa because of the new Trump administration?
The first answer to this question is that once she did not stay more than 6 months, her 5-year multiple visa is still valid. But I have a warning for that person. To come and stay here for 6 months is a whole lot to be on vacation for. It's too long to be on vacation for 6 months. So if that person doesn't stay in Ghana for at least more than the 6 months that they lived in the United States, then coming back could pose a problem at the point of entry because she stayed for too long when she came the first time. The question they ask themselves is that if Americans are going on vacation, if you are working and you are going on vacation, how long can you leave your work and go out and enjoy yourself? Can you go more than 4 months, 5 months? How do you get paid? How do you support yourself? These are the questions that the officers at the border usually ask themselves, and they ask you sometimes. So for this particular individual, if you say they stayed 6 months, I hope it was not more than 6 months, not even a day more than 6 months. Then they can come back. But that person shouldn't try to come back after staying in Ghana for 2, 3 months or 4 months and say, yes, I'm going back to America. You live in Ghana rather than America. You should stay in Ghana more than you stay in America. That would be my answer to you.
Okay, I see Dr. hand up again, but before I ask Doctor to ask the short question, anybody else here who haven't asked anything? Like I said, this is an opportunity for you to ask lawyer Darko directly, whatever about somebody, about your concern. This is an opportunity. No consultation fee, free for the public. So this is an opportunity. If no one else, Bishop, Please make your question short for us. Thank you.
Hello, Lawyer Darko. Please, can you clarify about the dual citizenship and the traveling regulations? For example, as I am a citizen and a Ghanaian, when I'm going to Ghana, please, sir, which passport should I use from JFK to Ghana? And please, sir, which one coming back should I use? Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Bishop. Once again, very important question, because I know dual citizenship issues came up very strongly recently. As a dual citizen of the United States, you are allowed to travel outside the country, showing the passport that allows you to enter that particular country without a visa. In fact, almost all the Jews have Israeli passports, and they're allowed to go to Israel with that passport and return with the American passports. It is not a problem. As you know, Ghanaians with dual citizens, we are able to go to Ghana with our Ghana passports, and we are able to return with the American passports. However, when Trump administration took over, in the beginning, a few immigration officers at the border or when you are leaving the country would tell you that we don't see a visa in your American passports, so we are not allowing you to board your flight to go to Ghana. There were others who also claimed that they were outside the country and on their way back, they were being denied entry. That is not true. Nobody has actually been denied returning to returning to the United States because they didn't have a visa when they left the country. So far, I haven't seen any, and it happened to myself. I was in Ghana without a visa with my Ghana passport, and I was able to return, and I believe so many people are going through it. However, because we live in a very uncertain times, if you can get a visa stamp in your passport, Ghana gives you 5-year multiple visa. Please, that inconvenience is okay for you to get a visa, put it in your passport, and still have your dual citizenship. You'll be able to go and come. When you get that visa is needed to leave if somebody were to give you problem. But when you get to Accra, you can show your Ghana passport and you won't have any problem at all. So my advice is still the same. There is no restrictions for dual citizens, but we live in a very uncertain time. So if you can have a double solution to your problem, it is better than having a single solution to your problem.
Okay, lawyer, viewers, listeners, we have less than 20 minutes to close. There's a question here. It said, is it right to add my grandchildren's name to the form when I am filling for my children as citizens?
Ask the question again.
Is it right to add my grandchildren's name to the form or to the application when I'm filing for my children as citizens?
Okay, so this question is not clear. I'm going to clarify it for Vivian. Vivian is trying to file for her children. Vivian is a US citizen. Vivian is asking whether in filing for my children, should I include the names of my grandchildren? The answer is yes. When you are filing an I-130 petition for a beneficiary, the forms ask you name the children and the spouse of the beneficiary. So in this case, Vivian will be the petitioner, her children are the beneficiary, and the forms ask to name the beneficiary children. So the grandchildren has to be named on the form. Now, if you don't name them, in future, when your child gets here, or when your child is going for the visa and the children were to have qualified to come with their mother, they will not be able to come. So it is always good to list the children and their date of birth and their place of birth on the application that you are filling.
Okay. Thank you. This questions goes to what's the name? Self-deportation. So self-deportation, when the person's, deported him or herself, how long can the person apply a U.S. visa to come back?
All right. I hope listeners are aware that the Trump administration has established a self-deportation process where you can download the CBP app and state that I want to leave this country on my own. And the administration will buy you a ticket and gives you $1,000 for you to leave the country voluntarily. Now, the administration claims that if you live like that, you will be able to come back peacefully, nicely in the future. I have a little bit of news for that. The rules are very clear. If you have overstayed your visa, and this is under the Immigration and Nationality Act, so this is the law. If you have overstayed your visa in the United States and you leave, you may not be able to return for up to 10 years. One. Two, if you came to the United States illegally without a visa and you stayed here, there is also limitation of coming back, either 5 to 10 years. Three, when you have overstayed your visa or when you have left the country after accruing what is called unlawful presence, you cannot just walk into the embassy and ask for a visa to come because you went and you overstayed or you went without a visa. Why should we give you a visa for you to go and visit and come back? You may not come back. So it is not a very simple process whereby you go to the embassy, apply in the next 1 year, 2 years, and you'll be able to come back to the United States. Those who will be able to come are those who have relatives who would be petitioning for them, and therefore they will qualify for a green card one way or the other. They will have a pathway to apply for re-entry or to apply for waiver to return to the United States. But other than that, if you self-deport, there is no guarantee that you can come back to the United States ever again. That is the legal position of the Immigration and Nationality Act.
Okay, somebody just posted something, said, let's see, we have few minutes to exit. So please, Vivian said, what if I had new grandchildren after I've submitted the application for filing?
It happens, Vivian, all the time. Sometimes new information comes up which were not present at the time you filed your petition. Those type of information will be needed when the petition is approved and you are moving to the next stage. You need to update that information. It is not a crime for the information to change at all. So if the children were born after you submitted the application, don't worry. You will have the opportunity to update the application when it gets to the consular processing period.
Okay. This is my last question. I read it somewhere that the new visa application, you have to deposit $250 at the embassy if they approve the visa for you. Please, can you explain that to us?
Well, it is a new fee that has been slapped by the Trump administration. It is more like paying a bond to say that when I go, I'll come back. And when you stay, after you pay it, you stay within the time you say you are coming to stay here. Then when you are going back, you can take that money back. Yes, it is a new program. It is going to be implemented, and I believe very soon you will hear more about it.
Okay. My question is it different from the application form payments?
Yes, it is different. This is an additional fee. It will be paid by only those who have received the visas and coming to the United States. Then you pay that money. And when you leave, you take that money back.
And also, I heard that there's increasing fees of petition and everything. Can you take us to that area too before you leave?
There has been a high increase in fees, which are yet to go into effect. Among some of the fees that are being introduced, number one is a fee for asylum application. Previously, there were no fees to file an asylum application. Currently, they are introducing a fee of $100 for the application form. And anytime your case is pending, as long as you are here, every year, there is an additional fee of $100. That was part of the big, beautiful bill that was signed into law on July 4th. The second fee, if you lose a case at the immigration court, usually to file an appeal, the fee was $110. That fee has also been increased to $900 to file appeal. 3, there were petitions and applications that qualify for fee waiver, including VAWA petition, widower petition, and a few other petitions involving asylum. All those fees are being taken off. I mean, free fees are being taken off, and there's going to be new introduction of fees. The government is also proposing a review of the existing fees as we know it now. I believe by next week, we will have more information. But yes, anytime you are filing an application, you have to check the USCIS website under uscis.gov and click on the fees section to make sure you are paying the current fees as it stands, because new fees are being introduced and they are going higher rather than lower.
Okay. Please, before you give your closing advice or remarks, what about the parole in place?
So parole in place happens to be a benefit that was granted to a few people under Biden, which would have given them the opportunity to get their green card here because they have been here for such a long time and basically qualify otherwise for benefits. Now, this matter was sent to court by Republican states, and the Supreme Court ruled against Biden. So there's no parole in place program right now under Biden program. If anybody assures you that there is a parole in place, then it will only be the temporary protected status, which has been granted to other countries, some of whom have been revoked, including Haiti, Cuba, El Salvador, and Venezuela. We are not sure what other countries are going to also be revoked, but most of these countries are having their parole program revoked.
Okay. Somebody just posted a question. It said, please, when come through the border and your case is existing, is it advisable to follow up or wait?
When coming through the border and your case is still in existence, I would have wished she clarifies it a little bit, but I don't know whether we can. Are we talking about people who cross the border without a visa, or
Yes.
a green card
Yes.
holder who has traveled and is back to the United States? Which one are we talking about?
The people who cross the border without document.
Please, if you cross the border and you have not filed your case with either the immigration court or with the Department of Homeland Security, you need to follow up on your case. Most of those people are now receiving letters to either self-deport or report themselves. You have up to 1 year of entry to the United States to file an asylum claim if your claim is based on an asylum. If you stay for so long without following up, you may lose that right to file for asylum. So please, it is important to follow up your case and speak to a competent lawyer for that reason. Because there have been instances where people file asylum applications through people who are not lawyers and put in some information and details which are so irrelevant to their claim, which sometimes affect the outcome of their claims. So please follow up on your case and seek legal counsel.
My understanding that the person already filed everything, but haven't heard any information. So the question is, should they ask why I haven't heard any information, or should they wait till they're being called?
One, it depends on what application the person has filed. Two, it depends on where they have filed that application. If it is a court process, she needs to follow up to make sure that there's no court date even in his, without his or her knowledge. There are so many people who are missing their court date because they don't know. And because you miss a court date, you are automatically ordered deported on the very day you miss your court date. So, two, if you file your application with the Department of Homeland Security and it is pending, you should still follow up with a lawyer. Let the lawyer make sure that everything is okay with your case. But to just ignore it and sit down is not the best way to handle an immigration matter.
Thank you. This is our last question because it's 7:23. I have a friend, U.S. citizen, who filed for his sister. The application was filed as far back 2009, but she has not been invited for an interview for a visa. What should he do?
Alex, I did speak about the visa bulletin, which is the date of visa availability that is put out by the State Department on a monthly basis. As of today, if you file a petition for your brother or sister, they are giving it to those who filed between September 8, 2008 to January 1st, 2008. So if that person petitioned around 2009, it is still not their turn. They may have a few months to wait. And it depends on even which month in 2009 that this case was filed. I would say that they are getting very close, but they are not there yet. They may have a few more months to wait.
Thank you, lawyer. I think we have come to an end of our forum. And please give your advice, closing remarks, and where we can find you again.
Thank you, Keymama, for your service as well. Listeners, as I told you, my name is Lawyer Darko. Darko Law Firm, 299 Broadway, room number 607, New York, New York. The office is opposite the immigration at Federal Plaza, Brooklyn Bridge. Our telephone numbers are 212-385-1144. You can just Google the name, and also it will show you the address and the website. My little advice to all of you is that we are seeing things that none of us have seen before. It is just as when COVID happened and people were asking questions, and most of us happens to be our first pandemic. So everything was new to us. And because it is new, it is very improper to predict what the outcome is going to look like. Same way, I believe a lot of people who are on this platform have lived in this United States for so many years. And this is the first time we are seeing such action. Some of us lived through 9/11. There was heavy immigration enforcement action after 9/11, but it was not as bad as it is today. And it was not as rampant where a senator can be pushed down, a congressman can be arrested, and so many things happen that we have never seen before. So we are in a very difficult times. You need to protect yourself by limiting yourself to this contact, to eyes contact. When you are leaving your house, carry your ID that shows your immigration status, at least a copy of it on your phone or in your wallet, so you can easily verify who you are if you happen to be within this raid. I would say that those of us who says you can fight it out, you cannot fight the federal government. If ICE is arresting you, you can't fight them. You need to comply and rather make the process easier by providing information so that you will be excluded from those they are looking for. This is the advice I would tell you, that you should all protect yourself. And finally, if you are not a citizen, if you have green card and there are no issues with it, just abide by the rules and don't risk yourself too much. Hopefully, we'll get through this too. The question, do I deal with other issues? The answer is yes. I am a general practitioner. The only area that I don't do is criminal law. But even criminal law, I give those cases to other colleagues who do criminal law. So yes, I do accident cases. I do matrimonial, I do family law, I do investment law, and I do immigration law.
Okay. Thank you all very much once again. For those who join me, my name is Catherine Kujo, popularly known as Keymama. I would love to invite you to this year Ghana Fest at August 2nd. You know, we mix up everything. I'll see you there. And like I said, this is our advice at the National Ghana Parade Council. Whatever that we don't understand, you consult. And thank you very much, Lawyer Darko, for your services, not just for us, but the entire world, including Ghana. I'll put it that way, wherever that you are. And thank you. And once again, this will be not the first or the last. We will call you back again when changes happen. Thank you, and God bless you all. And be safe out there. Take
Thank
the
you.
advice. Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye.